Addicts, welcome back. We are here again to talk about the TMNT Last Ronin series, here for issue 3. I know this dropped a while ago now, and we're just now getting around to it. Apologies for that, but my new job has been very time-consuming, and it's left me not much energy to record, but we're finally here to talk about it, and I've really been looking forward to this issue, so let's just dive in. So we're going to break down kind of what was in the issue, and then afterwards have maybe a little bit more of a spoiler talk concerning what was liked and kind of what the direction is going to be going here. I do really like how it opens up. We get kind of an extension of the results of the battle that was shown in the last flashback in the previous issue, with Raph and Karai going toe-to-toe against each other, what that means for both sides. I think it's a little bit more emphasized on the Foot's end, but you still have, you know, some extending flashback sequences that jump a little bit further into the timeline, giving you the next deadly blow to Mikey and his family. So, like I said, it opens up at the beginning, seeing kind of Hiruto get initiated as the new leader of the Foot Clan, and with this we kind of get some information that this is 10 years after Karai and Raph's fight, and this is on the 16th birthday of Hiruto. This is where we also get some, I guess, reveal of the fate of Karai, because it was kind of left up in the air if she, you know, actually died from the wounds that Raph inflicted, or if she somehow made it out. And I do like that they didn't do a complete cop-out and she was fine. And she, like, you know, went back and, like, raised Hiruto even though she maybe had some injuries. No, it actually is shown that, I guess she's kind of put in, like, a coma where she's alive but kind of brain dead. I think they say, like, a comatose state or whatever. So technically Karai is still alive, but, you know, obviously without having his mother, and presumably they said, what, 10 years into the future, so Hiruto was 6, so he's not the best, like, put together guy mentally, as it kind of emphasizes later on in the issue. After we get that first panel, you kind of flash, or I guess first page of flashbacks, you go to present day Hiruto, where he's much older, where he's talking to his mother in a kind of like preserved container. It looks like she hasn't aged a day, which kind of, it's like, man, I wish she was like old and decrepit, so at least, you know, even if she woke up, like Raph still had the last Raph, because he took so many years from her, you know. I guess in some regard it's the same blow, right, since she's not awake. But anyway, you do see kind of Hiruto ramping up his search for the Last Ronin, and definitely wanting to put an end to the last of his former foes. And this kind of leads him to take into the city and push his soldiers farther into searching and putting the city on lockdown in kind of a martial law state. This is also where you get kind of glimpses of Casey, April and Casey's daughter. I can't remember if they call her something different in the issue. It's been a little while, but basically their daughter leading a resistance and trying to work with her comrades to escape the foot soldiers, or at least the robo ninja, or whatever you want to call them. You also do have a moment back at the old lair, with Mikey conversing with his you know, the ghost of his past, his brothers. And again, this is one aspect of the Last Ronin issue that I especially love. I think they play it sparingly, which I think definitely benefits those scenes a lot. I think it has much more weight. I think as long as you definitely can tell that, you know, Mikey is so guilt-ridden that it's almost like a burden to be still alive, but even though there is that aspect, he is still using these figments of his imagination to still strive forward. So I do like that. There's also a bit of, you know, back and forth of, like, is this what he thinks his brothers would be telling him in this situation, or is this kind of more so mirroring another side of his mind, and he's just using this as a way to project those thoughts and irrational thinking? Either way, you know, you can definitely see that there's damaged influences there, but I do like, you know, kind of the back and forth he has about getting especially Casey and April's daughter involved into this last crusade that the Ronin is on. And you do have little bits of like moments where I do really like the dialogue, like I think something, what was it? There was something that Mikey says to try to like get, their daughter to stay away from the fight, and she kind of shrugs that off as like, oh, you really are the funny one, So I do like those little bits of interaction here and there. I think it's fun seeing Mikey in a state or like a role that he's not necessarily the one that's breaking the rules or like rationalizing them to go against Master Splinter's wishes and go tell walking around the city and stuff like that. So I do like him in more of a protector role, I guess, when it comes to Casey's daughter there. I think it's just or maybe a bit more cautious maybe than what he would be in his typical youth, right? There's also some nice subtle moments with seeing parts of the lair, and how that relates to kind of the ghost that we were talking about as well. But in this, you do have April discussing her battle plans with Michelangelo and them trying to reconnect and fill in the gaps because both of them are really surprised to see each other alive, which we do see the flashback sequence of what initially led to that confusion. And then, or I guess rationalizing why they are so surprised or how they didn't know each other were still alive. With this, Mikey also gets the reveal that the Fugitoid might still be alive in April's possession. They're trying to get him reactivated so they can initiate a plan to, infiltrate Stockman's headquarters because they think that has the best approach to get to Hiruto and past his forces using some of that technology I think that Stockman has with him. And this is when we just get right into the flashback sequences, seeing again much older turtles. At this point it's just Donnie, Leo, and Mikey left, and a much older Splinter, of course, with the Fugitoid, Casey, April, and then I think they even are insinuating that the Purple Dragons are still with the turtles at this point. And we kind of see that, Hiruto is initiating this parlay to put an end, supposedly, to their long conflict. And I don't think it's really played to be a misdirect, because I think you can, as you're reading it, you can kind of tell the malice is translated to the point where it's like, yeah, that's what they're saying they're doing, but that's just kind of like the approach they're going to do to make a surprise attack. So I don't think it was anything on the author standpoint to be like, oh, actually, Hiruto might be good. Oh, wait, no, he's actually evil incarnate. Got ya. I don't think they did that approach at all, but it is a nice leading in point, because we do have the turtles facing attacks on all sides. You have Donnie and Splinter trying to get to the parlay, which I believe they said was going to be in Japan with Hiruto. And then you do have in the city Leo and Casey along with April, the Fugitoid, and Mikey having to deal with the attacks from Stockman and trying to wipe them out on this front. And it's not really, I don't think it's really insinuated that Stockman is working with the Foot. I think maybe he is at this point. I don't know. I was trying to think, I guess they do have ninja attacking. So yes, this is still their alliance together, and the Foot's enacting kind of like the first phase into taking out their enemy. This leads to a lot of cool action sequences between everybody. You even got the first probably instance where you see like robotic Foot ninja, or maybe this is the I guess timeline where like the Foot never had like real people, but you also have futuristic Mausers, flying Mausers, which are cool. I do like kind of how all of this plays out. Obviously Donnie and Splinter are nowhere at the scene, so there's no chance for them to come in and be like the cavalry. You have Leo and Casey struggling to get together so that they can have a united front and protect the rest of the forces, along with, having Mikey hang back and protect April and the Fugitoid. But this kind of leads to a no-win scenario with them finally cornered. And I do like how Leo and Casey go out. I think before I read the issue, I was scratching my head like, man, how are they going to justify this? Because especially, maybe not so much Casey, but especially Leo, he's like a character that's like, how do you realistically kill him off and leave the another turtle alive? Because he's kind of always portrayed as like the most capable or the most devoted, and this, that, and the third. So I was really curious to see how they would approach that, and I think they did it in like the most realistic point. I think just having him surrounded against all the biggest of odds, and just knowing that there's really no escape. I guess there is a minor escape, and they go through it at the end, but then Stockman pulls out this explosion that's just gonna wipe them all out. Which I do have another stance on this too. I think I do wonder, with the Fugitoid, I think the dialogue, what is it? He's like, I know it's me that you want, Stockman. If knowing that, I'm just going to self-destruct so that you can't guilt me, and, you leave my friends around. And I think, probably a more realistic standard is that the Fugitoid would just give himself up for his friends, and that way there's some sort of, ransom, or in a way, like there's, a reason that Stockman has not to just like kill them all, right? I think that's the only instance in this issue that I was really like, that one part seems like it was written specifically to get the outcome that we have. So I would have maybe liked that play out just a tad bit differently, or Stockman have, another thing thrown at him that this is kind of the only approach. But on the flip side of this, I think it's actually really cool because seeing a more darker, more gritty side of TMNT, I think this is something that, a lot of the villains of TMNT would do. I mean, they would just cut their losses and be like, well, if I can do significant damage to my enemies, I will do that at the risk of, maybe losing an asset that I would have like to have gotten to my side. So, there's a little bit back and forth on there. Overall, I still like it. I think maybe just a couple things could have been fleshed out a little bit better. But I was like, dang, that's such a heavy blow. And considering that you also have the after effects of that as well, it's not just losing Leo and Casey and the Fugitoid, but it's also, seeing, the utter, I guess, devastating and kind of traumatizing scenario that it puts Mikey and April through. And as we see later in the issue through another flashback sequence, that April has even more injuries than just unseen ones. So she's got limbs blown off, and it's a very long process that she even has to go through to be able to be at a physically fit peak, But again, like I said, the other part of the issue, you have, Casey and April's daughter going through here and rallying up the other resistance fighters and, keeping them at safety so that they can reorganize and regroup for another attack. You also have this one plot that I'm curious to see what it's going to do or where it's going to lead. But you do have April checking on the mutation status of Mikey, and I think they're going to play on that into something. To what, I don't know, but I am excited to see if that goes anywhere, because it seems like they could do some intriguing stuff there if they want. There's, I think the only other part of the issue that, again, like you kind of have to suspend it. I not suspended belief, but there's kind of like you maybe have to overlook it a little bit. But I think they do give a good enough excuse for it, and that is why, after surviving the explosion, Mikey and April don't try to find anybody. I think April's is a little bit more realistic because she is so physically damaged from the attack that, I mean, she can't go out looking for them. And even then, all of the reports that she's seen when she's in the hospital, there's at least in her mind, no way anybody survived. With Mikey, I think it's a little, again, like having to overlook some things of why he didn't even check like hospitals and stuff like that, especially for like April or Casey, because they could be taken to a hospital. But I think the reasoning they give is justifiable, because it's like, he was just in a haze, and like he was, just so shook by the whole thing that he's just, he was just reacting. So I do like that. We do get a tease that, there was also another motivator there. He was trying to get to Japan to meet up with Donnie and Splinter, because, knowing that they were kind of betrayed or misled in the New York side, he obviously knew that they were probably walking into a trap, so he wanted to get to them as fast as possible, which plants the seeds for what we're going to see in the next issue. This kind of leads off with, April telling Mikey that she's got a plan, that she's been getting ready for this moment, essentially. And we even get a cool reveal of like a turtle tank, which is dope. And you kind of see what the plot is going to be for the present day, I'll just say, of the next issue, which is going after Baxter Stockman and trying to infiltrate his tower so that they can, in turn, get a heads up or at least a sneak attack on Hiroto. There's also 2 pages that I'll just mention briefly. Maybe they're 4, actually. It's 4 pages of Hiroto, and seeing kind of like the mental state he has, and I think it's one that, you could take or leave. I don't think it's necessarily the biggest thing to have incorporated in the issue, but I do think it is nice to have a focus on a villain that we're probably not going to see much one-on-one interaction between the Ronin and him until the very end. So I think seeing a little bit of his psyche and seeing that he's just kind of messed up from, or I guess I should say a victim of, circumstances, being Karai's, son, being somebody so integral to the Foot Clan that, he's kind of been warped into, a very psychotic person. So, obviously, some of the stuff that probably people ingrained to him concerning the Turtles doesn't help. So I think, I don't think they're going to set up him to be a, maybe we can redeem him, but he's not going to be a redeemable character in the end. I don't think they're going to go that approach necessarily, but I do think it's just, nice seeing a little bit more depth, or at least, showing, I guess, insights to what could be a little bit more depth for a villain in a shorter series. So do like that. But like I said, that's basically the whole issue. You do have, I don't know if this is going to be the cover for issue 4 or not, but you do have, Splinter's journal there, as well as Donnie's staff, and man, this is going to be probably the most gut-wrenching one, because not to say like any of, the other deaths have been lighthearted at all. I think Raph's was probably the most graphic so far, and that's depressing in its own route, especially since he's like my favorite turtle. But I think it's really going to cement kind of the, the impact that, carries with Mikey throughout all these years, seeing his father die, or at least coming to the scene of his death. So I think next issue's flashbacks might be the saddest yet, but I think we'll also probably have maybe some of the best action, because we'll really get to see the Ronin taking it to his enemies for the first time since issue 1, right? I mean, it hasn't been lacking in action in these last 2 issues either, but I think next one will probably have a ton of it, and we are over the hump now. There's only 5 issues in the series as far as I know, so we only have 2 left, and unfortunately they did say that we're going to have to wait about, I think 3 months was the newest reporting of when issue 4 will be out, so we're going to have to wait a while, which is going to be unfortunate, but we're going to try to be back for TMNT Deviations. That came out like years ago, 2012, 2013, something like that. But I have never read it, so since it's kind of in line in terms of the kind of tone to Last Ronin, I am really excited to dive into that. Hopefully it's not as sad, but I've been digging this so far, and I think for me, this issue is a high tier, gotta have it. I don't know if I liked it as much as the last issue, but I definitely like the direction it's going, and I think, again, like, the next issue will be, will have a lot of stuff jammed into it. There's not much more I can say in terms of negatives. Those were the only little things that, maybe those 2 or 3 plot things there. But overall, I'm just really digging. Again, this is like one of those that... along with, having like the turtles a part of the foot, I think seeing a scenario like this where maybe they're older, just, like not necessarily dead, but just older and still fighting, or, just seeing what the city would look like. I think that's a really cool aspect. And, obviously seeing that there's only one left is obviously, another big, like, ooh, man, there's just, so many nuances you can add to characters because of those circumstances. And plus, like I said, pretty cool action scenes. The only thing that I have in closing with this is that screw the whatever animation Seth Rogen's working on for TMNT. Just do an animated movie of like The Last Ronin, or like a mini series of The Last Ronin. I think that would be dope. Once they finish this up, just do an animation of it. Oh my gosh. Man, talk about raking in money, WB, or Nickelodeon, whoever owns the rights right now for, animation. But yeah, anyway, guys, that'll conclude this. I know it was more of a discussion than a review, but I think, this is just one that I wanted to have fun talking with you guys. Let me know what you thought. Honestly, I don't think this is going to have a ending that's going to come out of nowhere as different, but they might surprise us with a few things along the way. I think we definitely will see a redeeming, or at least a justifiable hoorah for the fallen turtles, but I guess we'll have to wait and see till the next issue, guys. So anyway, leave all your thoughts and comments down below, and let us know what you would like us to cover next. We got several other comic stuff I'd like to cover, as well as, we got more books. I have a novel that I can't wait to talk about, so I will leave that little teaser with you, and until next time, guys, peace.